Saint Monica lived the course of her life during the 4th century. However, she is still a very well honoured and respected saint of the Catholic Church, even to this day, as many seek her intercession. She is most commonly known for being the mother of Saint Augustine, as she prayed many years for his conversion. Saint Monica was raised in a Christian household and later got married to Patricius. Saint Augustine was their eldest son. Patricius, who was the husband of Monica, did not follow any religion for the majority of his life and was described to be violent and loose-living. Yet Saint Monica did not give way to sadness or bitterness, but rather worked towards a gentle and understanding relationship with her husband. Then shortly before the death of Patricius, he decided to become Catholic. At the time of his father's death, Saint Augustine was 17 years old. So now, as a widow, Saint Monica made great sacrifices for Augustine, especially for his education, as he was an enthusiastic learner. Saint Monica also done her best to lay a strong Christian foundation for Augustine through her own life examples, as well as often advising him to be wary of committing sin. Especially when he was entering adolescence, his mother Monica privately warned him not to go down the path of sexual sin. However, despite this, Monica suffered distress as she slowly witnessed her son rejecting all the religious practices which she held dear. The distress of Monica was aggravated by the cynical attitude of Augustine towards her advice and his decision to join the Manichaean sect. Although the Manichaean sect accepted the name of Christ, their teachings were very distant to that of the Catholic Church, as they rejected and scorned the Old Testament while professing the existence of two gods. St. Augustine's abandonment of the Catholic faith and indulgence in a life comprised of many sins caused his mother Monica immense pain. Once, when St. Augustine returned to his hometown after his studies, Monica initially refused him a place in her home. However, a very memorable dream altered her decision. In this dream, she saw an angel approach her as she lamented the spiritual ruin of her son. The angel consoled her by saying, "For where she was, there too her son should be." She also received consolations from a bishop regarding her son, as he told her that the son of so many tears cannot perish. And by the time these words proved true, Monica had been praying for the baptism of Augustine for 17 years. The conversion of her son brought much joy to her, of course, and even St. Augustine himself has said that, without the example and continual prayers of his mothers, he would have been lost. 5 days before St. Monica fell ill due to a fever, which unfortunately led to her death, she said these words to Augustine: "I do not know why I am still here, since I have no further hopes in this world. I did have one reason for wanting to live a little longer, to see you become a Catholic Christian before I died. God has lavished his gifts on me in that respect, for I know that you have even renounced happiness here on earth to be his servant. So what am I doing here?" Also, while St. Monica was so critically ill that her burial plans were being discussed as a family, she told her sons these words: "Bury my body anywhere you wish. Do not let care about it disturb you. I ask only this, that you remember me at the altar of the Lord wherever you may be." Following the death of his mother, St. Augustine wrote extensively about her in his autobiography, which is known as the Confessions of St. Augustine. Because it was only after her death St. Augustine actually received more information from his sister to come into a fuller awareness of the depth of the concern and prayer of his mother for him. St. Augustine wrote that his mother strove in every way to raise him up to experience the love of God. and later, as he looked back at his rejection of his mother's attempts to instruct him according to the ways of virtue and God, he wrote, "My mother's words seemed to be only a woman's, but they were your warnings, Lord. However, I ran with such great blindness that I feared to be without sin in my circle of friends." Saint Monica was a strong presence and influence in the life of her son, and since her death, Monica has been presented as an inspiration to mothers who are tempted to fall into deep despair for the growth of faith within their children. As consolation to other concerned Christian mothers in later centuries, it appears that the seeds of Christian faith that Monica gave Augustine at her maternal knee had in fact been more influential than Monica had noticed at the time. Saint Monica's feast day is celebrated on the 27th of August.